happen while incarcerated. Many of our brothers and sisters come home with dull tools,
Right.
and even if the tools are sharp, they never crack them open and apply them. They always take, the low road or the lesser route.
Right.
Uh, it was an unpaid debt that I still owe to my mother. It is an unpaid debt to my children, all of the people that were affected by my incarceration and my absence. Coming home, I had to go from incarceration to incorporation addresses before, during, and after. That's what the book is about. But the incorporation aspect is the consistency once you're out, to ensure once you're out, you don't return. So that's what that's the premise of that book did, which is actually one of my most powerful books to date. But
It is that the title alone is just catchy because it's from incarceration to incorporation. That's actually, to me, I would actually put that book up there with like a 48 Laws of Power or something like that, because that's giving you the tools for what you can do when you get out, what you said. So you gotta set yourself
not
up.
only when you get out, though. See, the key is to sharpen them tools and run them through a ringer while you're still in.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like, there's so many different distractions and amenities in prison. You can go right or left. The choice is yours as far as what you tap into.
Right.
So a lot of times, brothers and sisters, they do time and just doing the time where the time is doing them. And before you know it, the door is opening. And then you're like, man, I didn't work on myself. I didn't work on anything. What am I going to do? And we're creatures of habit, and we resort back to, to our natural, our natural behavior.
What you used to.
Yeah, indeed. We know that the streets are going to welcome us with open arms, judgment-free.
Right.
From incarceration to incorporation really addresses how strong of a person it is to say no and don't travel back. So,
right. And I was actually getting ready to say that you set yourself up for success before you even got out. You released your first book before you even got out of prison. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, again, it ties into what I was saying. Everybody knows themselves. When you look in the mirror, like, whether you recognize that person or not, you know where that person came from. So that when I was in that book there, I knew if I didn't find something that was more attractive, more appealing, more exciting, more money, more of everything, I knew that I was destined to return back to what put me in there in the first place. And that's what we have to come to terms with, knowing yourself and knowing your limitation and knowing I never profess to be like this changed person. I just make better choices and decisions. That's what it is for us. Like, change, like, man, it's going to take the amount of years it took for me to become that force that I was. Like, I view myself as a positive force for the most part in life, personally, professionally. But once upon a time, I was fine with being a negative force. I'm saying that change process is still taking place as a man, as a son, as a sibling, as a father, as someone when I was in a relationship, as a significant other, things of that nature. Those changes are still, I'm still a work in progress, as we all are. So again, for me, I knew that I had to unlearn and relearn a new behavior. I had to strip all that shit down. My best way of thinking landed me at the end of that brick wall. I was saying earlier on my TikTok how, like, and I believe I shared it, but ignorance incarcerated me. Education freed me. And when I speak about incarceration, I don't just speak about a physical incarceration, because we're psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually incarcerated if we don't find peace, if we don't, free our minds and free all of those aspects within us. So I had to work on the interior, you know what I mean? while working on the exterior to build myself up to prepare for this ongoing journey of not returning back to prison.
Right. So you